Hi everyone, I just wanted to walk through the letter real quick and talk about some of the points. So the first thing that it goes over is the tiered stipend amounts, and you can see the justification of the different tiers. So the base amount is going to be $750, and this really is if you found a great OER book in PDF format and plugged it into your course and used that to replace your content. That's a great place to start, and so that's where we start with the $750, and this is just to honor the need to change some of the content for the new book. The next one is the $1,000, and this is where most people are going to reside, because even if you do find an OER book that you're simply able to use, more than likely you've had to change some of your ancillary materials, PowerPoints, test banks, and assignments to align with this book. What it also does mean, though, is that you're willing to share these out and have a Creative Commons CC BY license put on them. Now, this is a requirement of the grant, so it's nothing internally that we decided on, but it is a requirement of the grant in order to give state funds out, and this is a state law. Anything that is used to produce or produced by state funds needs to have a CC BY license on it. So if you did create things but you don't want to share, that's absolutely fine. Then the stipend amount does go back to the $750. But if you're using OER material or ZTC material and you've created content, ancillary content that you're willing to share, then it goes up to the $1,000. So the next step is the $1,500, and this is if you remixed OER content. And there are some disciplines out there that this was required to do, where there wasn't an entire book out, or perhaps you wanted to make your own book. And so you remixed multiple sources of OER content and put them together, and you're willing to share what you've remixed by the CC BY license. Now for some disciplines, and I know child development is one, and there's a couple of others, there's very limited amount of OER content out there, and so the content is actually having to be written. This requires much more time intensive, and so the stipend amount is between $2,000 and $3,000. And I can sit down and have a conversation and take a look at the amount of work that you've done to see where in that stipend amount that you fall. There is a few of you out there that did have to do this, and we've most likely had a conversation, but in case I missed it, then please let me know. If you're not familiar with the different levels of the CC, which means Creative Commons license, here's a quick graphic letting you know. Now you can tell that this right here is the most open CC BY. It is a requirement of the grant, so we do not have the option to choose any of these others, but you should be aware of what they are and what they mean, so that if you want to still Creative Commons license your material, but you would like to have a more restrictive license, and these are the options you have. But just to clarify, any content that is awarded a stipend has to be licensed by the CC BY license. A requirement of the grant, of course, is to share out the information that was created. The Chancellor's Office has used what was formerly the Professional Learning Network and created the Vision Resource Center to do this. If you've ever logged into the Professional Learning Network, your login credentials should be the same, but it is now renamed the Vision Resource Center. Colleges have already started submitting content. We have an extension on our grant until the end of June, so we have a little bit of extra time to submit content. But if you would like to take a look at the content that's already been submitted, then you can create a count. And on the left-hand side, there will be a little box that says Connect, and then choose All Communities. And you'll have to browse and find the community that says CCC Open Education Zero Textbook Cost Resources. And within there, you can take a look at some of the content that has already been loaded and the requirements that other people are honoring in those requirements. It is not very intuitive navigating, so if you don't want to spend the time playing around in there, I'm more than happy to sit down with you and we can look and see what content for your discipline that we can find. You don't need to worry about loading the content in there. I will be loading that in for you. There's only one point person per college that has been given the ability to load information. One of the things that I do have to do is to make sure that all content is as accessible as possible. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to provide and upload some of your created content before the start of the winter break. I will be spending the first week of the winter break going through and making that content accessible. So you have a couple different options for submitting your content. The first option, and this is what I would greatly prefer, is once you have responded to this email, then I will enroll you into a Canvas shell titled ZTC Content Repository course. And this is a course created, just as the name implies, to submit your created content. It's really the easiest way I could think of to share the content with me so that I can help make it accessible and then load it up into the Vision Resource Center. Now I know there's going to be multiple types of content that you've created. The most common type will be files that were created to make assignments, homework, tests. So this just can be loaded up into a module. First, you'll need to create the module within Canvas. Name it your course name. It doesn't need to have a section number associated with it, because I know many of you are teaching multiple sections of that course. So for example, if it's a math course, say Math 3A, then you can put Math 3A in the title of the module. You'll need to upload your syllabus. This is also a requirement of the grant to provide the syllabus for the course. And then you can add the file or other content. You can also provide links to any outside content. The requirement of the grant is not mandated to use OER materials, but ZTC, which is zero textbook cost materials. So if you're linking out to other sites, then you can provide those links, and those will be within the Vision Resource Center as well. We do need to provide those links as well to help provide resources for others. That's the purpose of uploading this content into the Vision Resource Center. If you have an entire Canvas course that you would like to openly share all of the content within there, you can always upload it into the Canvas Commons and then provide that link to the Vision Resource Center. There are some limitations in this because it makes it impossible for those that don't have Canvas to view the content. So we'd like to create a PDF with the different links, and we can go over this. The other option, which I greatly prefer option 1, but I do understand that some might not be as familiar with Canvas and it might be overwhelming to do option 1. You can simply email me the PDF that you used, if it's a flat OER PDF, or the link to that, and then any other content, and I will upload it into the Canvas course shell. By sending me that documentation or those content, you are giving me permission to do that for you, so I want to make sure that that's cleared. Okay. So receiving the stipend, I'd like to start processing the stipends right away, and I will do that after hearing back from you. So based on the conversations that I've had either directly with some of you or with those that are familiar with your course, I've highlighted the stipend amount in the email based on the tiered system that was approved. These are definitely not permanently set. It's just based on the information that I know. If you have additional content and you think that you fit better in a different tier, then please let me know and we can have a conversation and change those around. Your content does not need to be loaded first for me to begin processing the stipend. I do acknowledge that what I'm asking you to do requires some additional time. And I'd like to get the stipends processed by the end of this semester. So all I need to do is hear back from you if the stipend amount is appropriate, and if not, again, we'll have that conversation. The stipend amounts will be paid as long as everything gets into me by the end of the semester on January 10th on that paycheck. If you have any questions, please let me know.